And then you talked about Black Company. Is that a company with a bunch of Black people?
How nature and nurture dictates racial identity, ignorance, and xenophobia. We answer a fellow neighbor's question about quiet quitting in Japan, the dangers of Black companies, and our newest neighbor goes through rapid fire questions about themselves and Japan. You'll hear about it all because this is A Neighbor's Tale.
Hey there, neighbors. Welcome to A Neighbor's Tale, where we interview amazing people, get their stories, and hopefully it helps you in the long run. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also hit that bell notification to be reminded when we have new videos that get released. With that, I want to introduce our new neighbor, Shelly. Hi, Shelly.
Hi, I'm here.
You are here, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate
no problem.
it. Who are you? Who is Shelly?
Oh boy, we're going in deep with the first question. My name is Shelly. I'm from California. I'm 27 years old. I came to Japan around 5 years ago, and I've been here ever since in Minamisoma. I used to work as an ALT, an English teacher. Now I work at Minamisoma City Hall with Nate.
Kind of preemptively asked you, or said what kind of questions I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I asked you about you being the fact that you're biracial.
Yes.
And that shocked you.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, that's actually the first time anyone's actually called me biracial, so it's never really been something that crossed my mind at all, even though that is technically my family's history, I guess. My grandma is Japanese, she's from Tokyo, but I've grown up in the US for so long, it didn't really seem to be that, it didn't feel like a different world, it felt like just me, my family, so it wasn't really a word I would have used to refer to myself, so it was really interesting to hear.
Even though you were in the US,
yeah,
that's never really been something that's been brought to your attention. Is because of you think of where you lived, or more so just how you were raised?
That's a good question, because there is a lot of Japanese home influence in my home. Like, we had rice every day for dinner. That I didn't grow up eating bread for dinner at all. Like, it was rice. There would be other influences in our house, like art and stuff. So there was definitely Japanese there.
Yeah.
It just never really registered to me as like, oh, I'm biracial. My mom and dad, of course, would be like, oh yeah, grandma's Japanese, we grew up in Japan.
Right.
That is your culture, but it wasn't all just like, you are biracial. That was never something I absorbed.
Do you think that has to do more so with, and again, this is hard to speak to, right? But because I'm brown, right, I can't hide.
Yeah,
I
think that would be a good, because I'm white.
Right.
Look at me, I'm a white lady.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Sure.
And so it never really came up.
Being seen as, to the point that you made, like being seen as a white lady.
Yeah.
Right, so being seen as a white lady in Japan, but having such deep roots in Japanese culture, understanding the language, being around it your whole life, have you seen any semblance of like kind of discrimination or maybe assumption living here?
Yeah, one incident comes to mind pretty clearly. I was just going to Aeon, the local supermarket, to go shopping, and I saw one of my kids, because I was an English teacher at the time. So I went up and said hello, and the kid turned to their mom and was like, "Mom, look, it's Miss Shelley." And the mom was on the phone, so I don't think she was really thinking about it, but she turned around and said, "Oh, gaijin da," which means like, oh, an outsider. It's not a very nice word, but it's still, I don't think she meant it to be bad, but that was her initial gut reaction.
Yeah.
Which was a little startling to me, because that's like not something that people usually just flat out say to your face.
Correct.
That was the most egregious moment, I think.
How'd that make you feel?
Oh, that was, at first I laughed it off. Because it was like, funny, like this lady was so surprised by this white woman. Like, this big scary white woman.
Right.
But like, after thinking about it, I was like, that's not really okay.
You serious?
It hurt a little bit, because it was my kid,
I always was under the impression that it was just foreigner.
Yeah.
And the end, that's it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it had a little bit more
connotation.
Yeah, connotation, like meat to it.
Yeah, the official term is gaikokujin, which
Yes.
is outside country person.
Correct.
But if you just take out the country, then it's just outside person, which is gaijin. So it's not very polite. And of course, after she said it, I think she realized what she said and was like, "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry." But at
Sure.
that point, I was like, "Okay, time to go.
You're done. You're done.
Yeah.
Bye, kid."
Right. Because at the end of the day, that was your knee jerk.
Yeah.
Even if it was kind of just like, so.
I'm glad she recognized it as something that was not okay, but I didn't need to be there to deal with that.
For sure, yeah. How, with that, I mean, I know you've probably had instances like that in the past.
Yeah.
But given that fact, how have you sort of dealt with that type of criticism for yourself?
I think at the end of the day, you just kind of gotta let it wash over you and off of you.
Be water, my friend.
Because if you let it stick to you, then it's just gonna weigh you down. So at the end of the day, you just gotta keep moving. It's your life. It's not theirs.
We've got a question from a fellow neighbor. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it. They were asking about the concept of quiet quitting. How does that sense of quiet quitting come across in the Japanese culture?
Well, I can only speak from personal experience, obviously, but at my workplace, it doesn't really exist. My first couple days of work with Nate, like, our end time was 5:15, so the time would roll around and nobody else would move. So we were sitting there being like, it's our first day. Is it time? Do we leave?
Right.
And eventually, my boss was like, "Yeah, you can go. It's fine."
Got you.
But everybody else was still there for like, pretty sure an hour or two afterwards.
Damn.
No, it's no joke, and that's pretty standard. Like, and that's not even like a black company. Like, black companies, they don't pay you for that. My job is actually really, really good at paying for overtime and all that, and has been working to encourage people to go home. Get out! But there's still that strong undercurrent of, if you're not here, then you're kind of taking time away from everybody else because you're no longer contributing to lessening the workload for everybody else. I would like to see more quiet quitting, just doing their job and then having an actual life outside of work.
Correct.
But right now, from at least my experience, that's not quite a thing yet.
So do you feel that pressure to stay?
Yes, I think it's easier as a foreigner and being known as the foreigner at City Hall, like to be like, oh, she's an American, they just leave. So I can just be like, bye.
Right.
So that makes it a lot easier, but yeah, it took some getting used to be like, I'm the first one leaving.
You talked about Black Company. Is that a company with a bunch of black people?
I don't think so. Like, a black company is a company that takes advantage of its workers. It doesn't really pay them well. It doesn't pay them for any overtime, and it demands a whole lot from them. So it actually leads to like a lot of workers eventually committing suicide because they're so overburnt and out of touch with their own lives. Everything is for the company at that point. So it's not a great thing.
No.
So I'm glad I'm not working at one of those.
And I've heard with those companies as well, and a lot of companies do this, but with those specifically, they will really they will lie
Oh yeah,
about
absolutely.
what the job entails. And then I don't know what that is, the definition of that, but the snake pit, which is the real, the actual, what the company actually is.
Yeah.
That is egregiously worse
Yes.
than what was projected, into your point.
Yeah.
Leads people to suicide, and at the worst case scenario, best case, they just are in it for a little bit and then they quit.
Yeah, if they can get out, that's ideal. Yeah.
If they can get out.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, contracts might lock you in. Like, if you sign your name away, then they might come after you and sue you afterwards.
Would you like to make a deal?
So it's not great.
Holy
Yeah. So try to avoid them.
Yeah. Not black people. You can trust them.
We love black people.
So now we've got, we be moving. I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Okay.
You've got 10 seconds to answer them.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
I believe in you. Question number 1. Not including friends and family, something you missed about home.
Food.
Wow. That was a second and a half.
I got this. I got this.
Lord, she's not fucking around. She's serious out here. Okay. All right. Question 2. If you had one secret spot in Japan to try to convince someone to come and visit, where would it be?
Oh man, secret spot. There's a place down in Odaka, not really secret, but like there's these really cool Buddhist stone statues there that are built into the walls, carved out of the walls that are really cool.
Hell yeah. Brilliant. Oof. Luckily
Where am I? Oh no!
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Question 3.
Yep.
Question 3. Something you don't like about Japan.
Umeboshi and natto. I'll go with the easy ones.
Okay, got you,
Yeah,
got you.
There's a lot we can unpack, but,
But
10 seconds.
Yes.
That's what I'm going with.
So okay, got you. So natto.
Yeah,
not a
umeboshi
fan.
and natto.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fan.
How do you define joy?
I would say joy is something deeper than happiness. Happiness can go up and down, and that's just a natural cycle of life. But joy is something you find within yourself, something more stable that you know is in yourself rather than relying on outward influences.
How do you find joy for yourself?
I try to keep up with my hobbies because a lot of my hobbies are more just me with me time. And that's a good way to recenter myself, find myself again. I also go out and meet with friends because that's another good way to discover who I am with others and trying to kind of absorb their energy and try to hopefully give them joy too.
Any lasting words you'd like to say to the neighborhood?
Don't be hesitant to try new things. Like moving across the world is a huge deal, but I think if that's where your heart is, then you should go for it. Because even if you don't end up staying there, it will still be a fantastic experience and bring you a lot of wisdom into who you are and who you can be.
That is it. We are all done with Neighbor's Tale. That has been Shelly. She's done masterfully, so I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no worries.
As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Excellent. If you have any questions for future neighbors, let me know. In the meantime, as Diego Ramirez once said, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no worries.
Okay, I have a good joke, guys. Which country never compromise? I can give you a hint. It's a country in Europe.
Put in the comments below what you think the answer is, and we'll see who gets it right.
Yes, it's a very good one,
It's
guys.
a very good joke.